Hey guys, today we are going to talk a little bit about Kate Ma Barker. We will venture out to her final resting spot of her and her sons out in Welch, Oklahoma at the Williams Timber Hill Cemetery. It should be a fun day. It's definitely going to be a cold day, but let's get started. Kate Ma Barker, her four sons, Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred, and Alvin Karpis, formed the Barker Karpis gang in 1931. That year, Fred and Alvin shot a sheriff to death. The murder started a pattern of thoughtless killing by the gang. Barker was born Arizona Donnie Clark on October 8, 1873, to a poor family in Ash Grove, Missouri. Her parents were of Irish and Scottish descent. Clark was a headstrong girl with dark, penetrating eyes and a nasty temper. As a child, Clark witnessed local outlaw Jesse James and his gang ride through her hometown. The sight triggered her thirst for adventure and was a catalyst for her life to come. In 1892, Clark married a man who had failed to quench that thirst, a poor, soft-spoken tenant farmer named George Barker. Over the next decade, the couple had four sons, Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred. Arizona Clark had by then adopted the nickname Kate and taken her husband's last name. As the Barker boys aged, they were constantly in trouble with the law. Herman, the oldest, was arrested in 1910 for petty thievery. By the time Barker's two youngest, Arthur and Fred, had reached their teen years, all four sons were repeatedly landing themselves in prisons and reformatories. But Barker refused to discipline her boys and would fly into a rage at anyone, including her husband, who tried to scold them. After the family relocated to Tulsa in 1915, George left Kate. In the spring of 1931, Barker's youngest son, Fred, was unexpectedly paroled from Lansing Prison in Kansas. Fred brought with him a fellow parolee, Karpis. He and Fred agreed to become partners in crime. Kate approved of the newly formed Barker Karpis gang and let them use her Tulsa shack as a hideout. Living vicariously through the exploits of her boys offered Kate the adventure she had always wanted. Karpis and Fred quickly went to work, committing a series of burglaries and small-time bank robberies. In December 1931, they robbed a department store in West Plains, Missouri. The next day, they shot and murdered the town's sheriff, C.R. Kelly, at point-blank range. Kelly's murder started a pattern of excessive violence and thoughtless killing that soon became the trademark of the Karpis-Barker gang. For the first time, Ma Barker became a wanted woman. On March 29, 1932, Fred Karpis and three accomplices robbed the Northwestern National Bank in Minneapolis and made a clean getaway. The Barker Karpis gang got away with more than $250,000 in cash and bonds. In September of 1932, Barker's son Arthur was paroled from a murder sentence at the same time that his brothers were free. The Barker gang was back at full strength and more menacing than ever. With Kate's blessing, they quickly plotted another bank job for December at the Third Northwestern National Bank in Minneapolis. This time, however, they failed to adequately think the job through. The consequence was a violent shootout with the police, which only served to solidify their reputation as the most vicious criminal gang in America. Another shootout between the Barkers and the authorities would occur on the morning of January 16, 1935. When the FBI raided the house in Oklawaha, Florida, where Fred and Kate were staying. Heavily armed FBI agents surrounded the house and ordered the pair to surrender. With no reply, the agents threw tear gas canisters in the windows. Fred fired a machine gun and a shootout began that left the house riddled with bullets. Fred and Kate fought for their lives, shooting back with everything they had. Finally, after 4 hours, the federal agents began to run out of ammunition, and the scene became deathly quiet. Kate, Ma Barker, and Fred were found together, dead in an upstairs bedroom. A stash of weapons and thousands of dollars were discovered at the house. This is the final resting spot of Herman Barker, his mother, Kate Barker, his brother Arthur, his brother Frederick, and the father, George Barker. Lloyd Barker is buried in Elmwood Cemetery in Brighton, Colorado. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the story about Ma Barker and her sons. I had to get a little creative, unfortunately do a little voiceover. It was so windy out there at the cemetery, you couldn't really hear what I was saying. So did have to get a little creative. Hopefully the story still came across and you enjoyed the video. I do encourage you, if you haven't yet, to take a minute and click that subscribe button. Also click the little bell. It'll let you know whenever I'm posting new videos. So until then, thanks for watching.